Got it.
Everyone, welcome. This is the fifth episode of Independent Artists Unite. I'm Scott Baker Graham, and I'm thrilled today to have Daniel from Albatross Heights. Daniel, it's so cool to connect you.
Scott,
Thanks for doing this.
thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
And you're coming to us from Oyster Bay, Long Island, right?
That's right.
Are
That's
you
right.
right on the water there,
I am.
or
Yeah,
everybody's on the water there, I guess.
pretty much. I mean, or near it.
And
Yeah.
did you grow up there? I mean, you're a product of the area, or?
No, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. I came up to New York City in my late 20s, and I'd been there for about
Okay,
20 years. Just moved out here about 3 years ago.
all right. That's it. That's exactly what I did, except I moved to Denmark.
Oh, right on.
I was in
Nice.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, yeah, I did a similar thing. But yeah, I can't even remember how we connected on Instagram. It's so weird how these things happen.
Yeah. Yeah, just kind of.
But it's probably a hashtag or something, new wave, or I don't know what. Um, but also I was so new to like Instagram and not knowing really how to find people or how to find an audience or anything. But I came across you, and um, I guess I just want to say one thing is just like the musicality of what you do, even though it's like in this kind of electronic music. But now I can see why you're a multi-instrumentalist. They're all behind you there. And it's I mean, and tell us about the song we're going to talk about today, because and then I'll go gushing about it.
Oh,
my
shoot.
own my own experience with it, because I love this song.
Well, you're too kind. I appreciate it. I mean, this song we're speaking about today is the number 2500 subtitle Ghost of Communication song. Um,
First of all, the title. There's got to be a story there.
it's an alphabet soup, isn't it? I mean, you know, I throw weird things as titles. I'll try to dial it back and make this as succinct as possible. Number 2500. What that is a telephone from the 60s.
Okay.
It's Western Electric number 2500. It's the touch tone we probably all grew up. Well, probably me and you grew up with. I don't know if
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
you know any younger people know what that is, but it's a thing that sat on a table and made a dingy noise. It didn't go in your pocket. So
Yeah.
so that was like standard phone around then. What does that mean? Well, I saw it on this poster from the 60s or 70s. It was like, hey, this is a new telephone. And I just thought, I was like, wow, you know what? That kind of era of communication is kind of gone. We're
Right.
asynchronous now, for better or for worse.
Mm.
There's not a lot of picking up the phone and telling people, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? Real time. It's a lot of posting and tweeting and liking
Mm.
and subscribing, which is cool too in its own way, but you
Yeah.
do miss the synchronous. You lose a little bit of feeling along the way. And it's rare that I write songs about a subject. Usually I write it abstractly, or I write some bull crap and discover what it's about later.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, but that's, if I may really think about what I was trying to get there, that's probably the gist of it.
Mm, mm. So like
Yeah.
the ghost of and can you read the lyrics to us, because I couldn't find the lyrics. You don't post your lyrics anywhere unless I just couldn't find it.
I haven't gotten around to put it. That's a laziness thing rather than a
No, me
mystery
too.
thing, I
Yeah, no, me
think.
too. Yeah.
I need to start doing that and
Yeah.
being better about that. Um, I'm trying to, I'm this is I'm bombing on so many aspects here. I'm sorry, but I'm not
No,
much of a
no.
lyrics guy, even with
Okay,
my
okay.
own lyrics. I write them, I sing them, and then they
Yeah,
end
yeah,
up
yeah.
there. If I might go into
Well,
it, I think it's talking about send the ghosts to play and then watch us as we fade away. Uh, I mean, might be a kind of a cheesy way of just commenting on the lack of emotion or the lack of real connection. It feels like we have these days with electronic communication.
yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe just the word ghost too. I mean, the idea it conjured up for me was that it's like it makes sense, like you said, about this old time way of communicating. And also, like, what happens to these communications? I mean, now with, I mean, really, what happens?
Oh, well, that's for real.
Well,
Yeah.
now since the Patriot Act, but
Yeah.
but just like, putting them out there, these like radio, or whatever, these frequencies, and they just don't stop. It's so it
They,
reminded me of that these things just keep going through space, and there is this, like, the ghost of all of our communications out there somewhere.
that's very real, and I hadn't thought about that before because my emphasis in the song, I guess, where I was coming from when I wrote it, was all about it dying or we
Oh
losing
yeah,
something. But you know what? I love it, and I thank you for bringing this up because I learn more about stuff from other people's perspectives, and that's why I
yeah,
love this, man. It's very true that though the style of communication we used to have might be gone, the funny thing about communications is now, and you're talking about radio waves going off into space, putting a post on a Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok's the same thing.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, unless you take them down or the platform goes away, that MF is still up there in perpetuity, you
yeah, yeah.
know.
I know
And
people talk about their old, I mean, in our age, their old MySpace accounts and stuff like that. They're still out there. So
so, right, I don't know if I want them out there either, man. I need to find mine and pull it down if it is, but
it reminds me when you said about the old time, about that old time number. Where I grew up, during the summers, we went to a camp in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, just like a half hour from Canada up there. And when I grew up, we had, not only was it a landline, but it was a party line.
oh
So you
man.
you shared the phone system with like five other people. So you pick up the phone to make a phone call, and someone's having a conversation on there.
That was
I mean,
that freaked me out the first time I was a kid at a friend's mom's house. Picked up the phone. People are. I'm like, hey, phone's busted. There's like 12 people on it simultaneously. What's up, man? And they're like, no, no, it's a party line. I was like, sounds like a damn party. I don't know what's going on here, but
and now
yeah.
let me gush about the song a little bit, because
Okay.
this is
Thank you.
like, I mean, I want to say it's an earworm, but that to me implies these like really simple songs that, like a whatever, from a McDonald's commercial or something, that gets caught in your head. But this, it's, I mean, if you haven't heard this song, anyone, you have to listen to it. There's like this, and I hope I don't offend you when I say this, but I'm going to say a name, and if it's offensive, I won't pursue it. Geddy Lee. Rush. Geddy
You
Lee.
listen very deeply because I was about to say that is. So, do you hear signals in this a little bit?
Well,
That I was
I
listening
did.
to a lot of the Signals record when I made that album.
Oh, is that right?
When I
Okay.
made that song, yeah.
Well,
That
Signals. That was the first concert I ever went to. Signals tour in
oh,
at the Philadelphia Spectrum.
wow. I wish I
Yeah,
was at that one, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and I was a big Rush fan. My first album I ever bought with my own money was Permanent Waves.
Yeah, wow.
That
Mine was moving
when I was
pictures.
in junior high school. Yeah. And yeah, because it's not, it's funny because I'm going to take this in a circuitous manner. I talked to my good friend Kenyon Phillips. I don't know if you ever heard of his name. He was like a lord of the night in the 2000s in New York City. Is in bands and performance art and things like that. But I was having a conversation with him the other day, and he was teasing me about how short my songs are, because everything's like 2 minutes long, or like, these recent demos I've done, they're a minute 30. and and he's like teasing me about it. I'm like, wow, I just assume that everyone's got ADHD, nowadays, and can't actually pay attention, or they won't actually listen to a whole song anyway. So why bother, And I
Yeah.
think if I can capture them for a minute 30, maybe it's a victory. But he said, yeah, prog rock is dead, progressive rock. And I said, you got to check out this band Albatross Heights, because
Oh man.
even though it's like electronic music, I would say it's kind of synth pop, but there's these complex rhythms going on, with the drums. The bass parts also remind me of Geddy Lee, because you're all, these agile melodic bass parts, and that like, and that was the earworm, all these complex things, because I had it in my head, every time I was like washing dishes or, vacuuming whatever. I'm like, I got to put in ghost communication in. Because I mean, if you can listen to this song and not start grooving, you're dead. It's just
Oh,
like, I just really, it's, and it's like, it's one of these things like, when you love a song and you just can't say exactly why,
mm,
it's like all
yeah.
these things together. It's the complex rhythms, it's that agile bass, it's these tasty, what it is hooks on top of hooks on top of hooks. The rhythm itself is a hook, the bass is a melodic hook. Then you have these synths coming, and you really can tell that you are this auteur that is a producer, a writer, a recording engineer, everything all in one, because all these things sweeping in and out. You're using stereo and fading, really effectively, and then your vocal also reminded me a bit of Geddy Lee. If like I can picture if you like took a hit of helium, you could do a great Geddy Lee impersonation. I mean, yours is not that high, but it's got this purity of tone to it, and it's got like a youthful, um, I don't know, it's got like a youthful energy to it, your vocal, I think.
Man,
And
you don't know
so
how much I
I just love
appreciate
it.
that, man. I really do because I didn't think you would pick up that Rush reference was buried deep in there with me and a close friend I grew up with. That we were really big on the Signals record in particular, and he was a
Yeah,
drummer, he's a real big Neil Peart fan. Who wouldn't
right.
be, man? But like,
Yeah.
but like, wow, the fact that you went right to that blows my mind. I
Oh,
love that.
that's so
That,
awesome, because I
that
thought, I thought it could have been just a boom end of
no,
conversation.
that makes me feel amazing, man. You've made my freaking day. I appreciate it.
Oh, awesome.
If
Well,
I could be a fraction of an atom of what that they were doing, I mean, holy crap. you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But tell us about like the recording of it, or tell us about your like describe your creative process. How does the idea gestate, and when it's time to, I mean, do you do it as you record, or do you come up with a song and then you record it? Like what's your process like?
It
Or for this
varies.
one, for this one, for this
For
one.
this one, I had that arpeggiator loop going for a bit. Um, and I didn't even have the chorus of the song till I'm talking a week before the end. I mean, I really was like, man, nobody's gonna want to listen to this like arcade on crack song that I've got going right now because it just was diddle 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 diddle. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, man, we got to do something about this, right? So so then I
And
I don't know, I
if
just
anybody just wants to stay with the arcade on crack, they can go to my Instagram.
I mean, because I mean, trust me, I had a loop of it, and it was going like 3 4 minutes. I'm like, no, this is not going to be released. I don't know, but like, but I started working backwards after I got the chorus because I got the chorus and it was a real plaintive, not technical, and I
Mm,
let it be. I don't want to sound negative about it, but I let it be kind of weak or timid or plaintive sounding.
right.
And I was like, no, I like that for some reason with this, and let me
Yeah.
back it up and unlayer everything and be busy and busy and busy, and then lead to this really plaintive, like, hey, we're losing our communication, everybody, come on,
Yeah.
look at what's happening. And
But
then it just
it's true, because it's almost like the vocal takes a back seat to, you have these sounds. It almost feels like it's going to careen out of control, and the vocal just kind of layers in and out. But it's like it's like you're lobbing vocals into this crazy stuff going on.
right. It's like if you notice, it's so busy, I don't have any space to even put but like a word at a time. It's like
Hmm.
blah 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 blah. That's all the freaking space there is.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, yeah. I mean, I'm. Thank you for the nice words about it. I was putting my ass on the line. I was like, this is gonna, you know, annoy the piss out of people and keep bugs away, or this is gonna be a song people might want to listen to. I don't know. See
Hmm.
which.
Well, I'm interested too about your musical background because like the melody. Oh, I hope I don't screw it up now, but just like ba ba da ba da 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 da. You know what I mean? That is not a
Mhm.
melody that people come up with. I
Yeah.
mean, are we talking like Manhattan School of Music or what?
Experiment. I mean, I think I was just finding space between the cracks of what was going on actually, and just
Oh,
what can I stick in there. And yeah, I always know that I could pull some synths out or scale some things back, but I was like, how about if the vocal was like a percussion or an instrument, or
mm,
not squawking, and then maybe give it space to do its
yeah,
thing in the chorus, and then back it back out again and let it be the same as a freaking cymbal hit or something, you know. I'd play with stuff. Some of it works, some
yeah,
of it doesn't. And that was one of those that was like, see what happens.
yeah. That's interesting. It could almost be a cymbal hit, the part. Gee,
Yeah,
gee.
right. It's weird accents. It's weird.
Yeah, yeah,
It accidental accents. Honestly, I didn't plan it that way. It was just, you know.
yeah.
So
And all right, so you had the loop, so you're kind of writing it as you're recording it, pretty much.
yeah, yeah. That's usually how it goes. I mean, I'll have a pattern. It's rare that I will have the entirety of this song. I'll usually have a pattern. I'll milk it to death, and be like, okay, what's going to complement this, and come up with the bridge and chorus. Um, and quite often, I mean, some songs start with vocal melody, some get vocal melody last.
Mm,
Uh, it depends on whether I build the floor of the house or the roof first,
mm.
and I wish I had more intelligent answers. It really is just kind of happenstance. I really get some fixture, some firmament, and then let things build around it. I build my own
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
puzzle, you know.
Yeah, I mean I mean it's just it's just interesting to hear people describe, because I mean it's like that for me too. I look at it like a puzzle, and I mean it's funny. The last a guy I talked to, had this idea that like many songwriters have, that it's kind of existing already, and you have to find out what it is, like you're kind
I
of
like
like a detective, think, okay, this song exists now, where can I find it?
I like that. I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah,
And you look like you record it right in that room there.
that's it. That's
Is
right
it
here.
is it with Logic, or what setup?
Ableton Live is what I'm
Oh,
using these
Ableton.
days.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
I've heard a lot of people say that. I felt like Logic was the big thing people had, but um,
Yeah, that's a good one
is
too. I
that is
mean,
that like a step above kind of the Ableton? Or
it's hard to say. I mean, I haven't used Logic in a while. Let me tell you how long it's been since I used Logic. It was on PC the last time I used it. So what was that,
okay,
1996 or something like that?
yeah.
Um, yeah. So I mean, I use a PC setup behind it. Not not for any reason. It's just what I have.
Yeah.
So I guess I can't put Logic on that. But what happened was, for lack of better explanation, I was doing rock and techno, let's say, separate about 15, 20 years ago, and I was using something like Cubase or Sonar at the time for the rock stuff, and I was using Ableton Live for the the beat oriented stuff, let's say. And
Okay.
then a friend of mine was like, dude, why are you doing that? Why don't you just do everything in one and just have your flow? And I was like, that's a really gosh dang good idea.
Mm,
And Live started getting the ability to do the plugins, because I was using it right before the plugins, only samples at the time. And you could do the plugins, and I don't do anything on the musical staff anymore, really. So
yeah.
I didn't need that part of it. So that Ableton's been with me for a long time now.
And the drums on this song are like something that I really love. I mean, it's such a awesome drum sound. What was it, a loop that you used for those two, or a few different loops, or did you chop them up, or?
Yes, yes, and yes. Some loops that stay fixed, some that I will take apart and replay the loops, like I'll slice the loop and use it as a real drum set. And then
Yeah,
towards the end, where you start hearing the bridge and the little drum rolls and stuff, I layered a sampled real drum set on top of that and played, for lack of better terms, real
yeah.
drum beats instead of the electronic.
So you're a mad scientist, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play drums very well. I can program them in, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
If I had a set, I could do Wipeout or something, and that's it. I mean, but, you know, or but
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like a joy to listen to
thank you, man.
those rhythms in the song and everything. I mean, I can't say enough about this song. It's one of my favorite songs. One of
Man,
my,
thank you so
yeah, I mean,
much.
it really is amazing.
Yeah, thank
And
you. I appreciate that.
what do now do you're just independent, right? And just putting the songs out there.
Yeah, yeah, it's just me doing my thing. And I've had a couple monikers before this one. Um, been changing them almost every 10 years. That might have more of a one had more of a shoegaze tilt to it. Like the last one I did was a little bit more industrial or edgier. This one's kind of a mixture of both.
Okay.
But that's all been just me,
Yeah, yeah.
just putting it out. And it
Yeah.
stayed small. I'd like to grow it, but it stayed kind of small right now till I figure it all out. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. It's a mixture of all these things, and I really love the mix, you know.
Oh,
I really
cool.
do. Um, but it's funny, you know, it's like because I've been talking to more and more people, and it seems like there's a lot of us that you know, had done years and years in bands and all the frustration and all the, you know, trying to get a record deal or getting a deal and just sitting there or getting dumped or the president changes whatever. And
Yeah.
and you know, or streaming comes along and it seems like there's a lot it's like I don't know what you call it, but it's like people that have become their own artists that are, you know, doing all the writing, doing all the recording, doing all the producing, and just putting music out there. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's something really amazing about it because it is unique to this time, you know? It's like, it's the technology is, of course, you know, is there where anyone can record an album in their house. It's just a matter of how good it sounds and the
Sure.
song, you know, and the song. I mean, that's where the art comes in. It's the song, it's the production and all the techniques that you use. But it's like it's kind of a new phenomenon, and it's like it's actually really cool because I always talk to people about like remember back in the day when you had bands and stuff and you'd like have a song idea, yeah, or the guitar plays. Okay, yeah, all right, and then us the bass part. Okay, yeah, you jam on it for like fucking 4 weeks.
Right.
Finally,
Right.
I got a lyrical idea. Okay, yeah. Then you go, you play it out for like a year, and then it's like maybe you record it, you get the money together to record it a year and a half later, and you nobody likes the song anymore. You know,
Yeah. You
you
squeeze
have
all the life out of it. Yeah.
exactly, and that
Yeah.
and these like people like you and like me and some all these people I'm talking to, and the way the technology is, it's like the moment between inspiration and execution is so it's almost immediate, and that energy goes right into the music, and I really feel like you can hear that, you know, like for instance, can you imagine, you know, this song if it was a band you're playing it, trying to teach it to, first of all it would have to
Hmm.
be the members of Rush pretty much. And then getting all the parts together and then recording it. I mean, you would never have that passion and the energy that's in the song right now.
Yeah, I think that is true, and I have to agree with you there. Not to sell out any people I've played with or
Mm,
anybody I would employ to try to do that, but it is definitely an extra layer.
yeah,
Uh, Now I know that extra layer can also amplify the idea sometimes too, so I
yeah.
totally dig that. Um, but as far as the conception, I like to commit it and get it on wax or whatever like that for
Mm.
whatever it is. And then if it needs to have a variant life with band members and slightly different on stage, that's cool. But it doesn't get lost on the way to getting on wax. And that's what I love about this era.
And
Um,
do you want to explain to the younger people what wax
oh,
is?
oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah,
I'm
I don't
just
have
kidding.
anything. Sorry, yeah, I'm talking dinosaur here a little bit, but I just really mean in this sense committed, put it on
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
recording, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, and rather than I don't have a vinyl lathe back there in the back room or anything, you know. But
And and you do a lot of do you take clients, like do you produce other people? I see you do a lot of collaborations, I see.
yeah, I remix people.
Oh, you
I don't.
remix people. Okay.
Yeah, I've remixed and some people remixed me. I did a lot of that a few years back, and I'm trying to get into that again just because I love doing it.
Yeah.
But I haven't done a whole bunch of producing, let's say, other bands or artists, just because of bandwidth, my bandwidth of focus time right now. If I have more time, that would be a thing that would be cool to do,
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
sure.
But if someone was interested, they could reach you over Instagram or whatever and say, "Hey,
Yeah,
uh,
sure. Yeah.
I love Ghost of Communication,
Uh,
whatever."
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, I'm eager to hear from anybody. I'm glad that's how we met. Mutual
Yeah.
admiration, and certainly love your music, man. And seeing the videos, you really dig the video stuff element to what you got. I'm trying to
Oh, thank
get a
you.
little hip to that now. So
Well, I do everything in CapCut on my iPhone.
awesome. Whoa.
It's an app called CapCut. You know that one?
No, I don't know. I didn't know about that. I'll
It's the
check that out.
my son taught me about CapCut when he was 9 years old, I think. Um,
Wow.
and because I was using iMovie, which is like can pretty much do nothing, and I was like scared of CapCut because there's so many. It's one of those things. I mean, it's like the difference between like a GarageBand and a Logic and your system.
Right.
It's like the more options, the more complicated it is. But you just need to spend a little time with it, and then it's like it's pretty much endless. You can just do anything you want. Like any effect that you saw in a movie or something, you can reproduce. So
That's
it's a lot of
amazing.
fun. Yeah, if you're a fan of film and want
Yep.
and stuff like that. So I
I
really,
appreciate that. I'm gonna check that out right after we finish up, man. That's something I need to. And I mean, if your son can figure it out, there's 8-year-old son. There's hope for me, like being able to get in there and check that out. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. He, what was I gonna say too? Oh yeah, I just wanted to ask you about, one thing I'd done in the past, which you probably know, is just put out so much material, right? So I'm putting
Yeah,
out like an EP with like every month, and it was just too much. So now I'm like getting hip to this idea about putting a single out, trying to do some
yeah,
promotion on it for a while. Is that your strategy too?
yes, it is now. I was working on putting out EPs in the projects before, and it would be months and months, even if it was just 6 months.
Mm,
Put it out, and then just kind of postpartum depression, really.
yeah.
Because unless you have a major budget or a major promotional sense or a social media wizard, which I'm not that. I'm working
Mm,
on getting better. Um, you will probably put it out to kind of whispers.
mm,
And with singles and putting it out more regularly. For one thing, you trigger the algorithms a little better, so people are
mm,
seeing that you're putting more stuff. For I know not everybody wants to deal with the algorithms. I understand that, but you have more frequent stuff. You also can pivot better because I can put a song out, and then I have done this, put one out. Hey, that worked pretty well. Great. Put another one out. Man, that one didn't hit that great. Put another one out, yeah, this one did okay. Oh, wait, you know what? The one that didn't do that great now is doing that great 2 months later.
mm,
It's a lot more nodes out there for something to connect with, let's say, where
mm.
if you're just the guy that puts out an album every 2 years, you have minimized the nodes that people are going to hit.
Right, 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 right.
That's what I found. And I can speak confidently, at least for myself, on that because I've been on both sides of the equation. I know
Mm,
there's some people that are going to be like, "Screw you! I'm putting out albums. That's what I do." That's fine. I'm not trying to poop on that, but I've done it for myself, and I don't like working very hard on something for a year that that just sits and then start the cycle again. I'd rather be more
sure.
responsive and able to keep going.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to, I'm doing more promotion on this latest EP or the last single and then the remix of the single than I've ever done before. And two, I'm having fun with that. You know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah,
normally
man.
I'd be almost releasing another EP already, probably. I have it, mostly written, but yeah, this younger guy said to me, that remixed it. You know, Pain in the Ass. Do you know him, James? Pain in the Ass.
I don't think so.
Them is really good music too. Check
I'll
them out.
check it out.
Yeah. He did the remix of Young Lovers, and I'm working with him on the next single. And he was like, "Yeah, a single every 4 to 6 weeks is kind of good because
Yeah.
you put it out, and then even if you do some promotion, it takes a few weeks for it to kind of take off, and you know, it just takes time, if you want to reach more people. And
Yes.
that's already working, for me on this one. I'm getting more streams than I ever got, like ever. So I'm really happy
That's
about
amazing.
that. And it's weird. It's from doing less music, but trying to intelligently promote it.
It's a rhythm to it. And I just brain short circuited. Of course, I've heard that. I don't know why I didn't click with that. That's the recent one, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know why I said I didn't know what that because
yeah.
you can just listen to it. Oh my God. All right. More coffee. More coffee. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's the morning still for you, ish.
I
Rock
guess
and
by the
roll,
name.
rock and
Yeah.
roll morning.
Yeah. Right. So rock and roll. I can't remember which rock and roll I just listened to.
So, and tell us what's next for you, Daniel. What do you just did this collaboration, a
Yes.
remix, a remix. Was it a collaboration or remix? The last one.
This was a remix. It was really fun one, a little different one too. It's an instrumental from someone called Garrett. It's Garrett who goes under the name Beat Mage, and
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah.
and he had a record out, and he's having various singles of remixes come out right now. One with me and one with another gentleman came out this Friday. That was a lot of fun. It just kind of I didn't have to think about, even though I have fun with vocals and stuff like that, it was more just like complete instrument, complete soundscape. And he already laid down an awesome soundscape anyway, to where I'm like, what am I going to do with this? I can't top this, man. So I just spun it in a different way, and luckily he liked it, man. So yeah, that's what was out Friday.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And working on a couple things. One that I'm trying to target for early mid September, and then a 3 song um, that I'm going to put out in October, November.
Oh,
I
cool.
might, yeah, I might try to go instead of just singles, go to these kind of 7-inch type
Two or
mentality
three.
things,
All right,
a
all right, all right.
sandwich, like song A,
B
instrumental
side.
song, song B. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see if that works. We'll see if that
No,
works.
yeah, no, but I like that too. It's the same kind of concept, I think
Yeah,
with a single, you throw a couple more things on there and have one single that you push or something like that.
yeah, not quite an
Um,
EP, but more than just one song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm going to try to start experimenting. And I need
Oh,
to get
cool.
some video stuff going for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah.
those are both Albatross Heights.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
this is going
awesome.
to be Albatross Heights stuff. I do some techno as well. I did a lot more of it last summer. I'll pick it back up under the name Refrax,
Oh,
um,
cool.
um, which I've done a couple remixes this year, house techno stuff. I kind of interplay it, but right now I'm trying to hit heavy with more of the singing stuff and keep that going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, please do because I love your voice. I love,
Thank
I
you.
mean, I really love all that you do. I'm so happy that I somehow discovered you. It's incredible. Um, and
Thank you.
it's like I keep telling people, I mean, I don't know what your experience is, but when I was in bands, it's like I wasn't listening to music that much. I was like, it's gonna ruin my artistic vision or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
now these days, I'm so excited that there's music out there that I really enjoy.
yeah.
I get so happy about it because I was one of those people that'd be like, "The music sucks today," and maybe the top 40 does,
Right.
certain aspects of it or the certain way the system works, but this like wealth of independent artists and the amazing things that they're doing is so cool. I just love it.
I do too, and I got to tell you, and I mean, case in point with yourself, I love it when I meet an artist I like and they're freaking cool.
Yeah,
That throws it through the roof for me. So
yeah,
it's really cool meeting you,
yeah.
and I mean that's just that makes my day, and to hear the nice things you've said about the track and the music overall, really, man. I mean, I certainly appreciate that, man. You know that's awesome.
Okay. Thank you so much, Daniel. And thank you for doing this.
Thank
And
you.
well, we'll see each other soon on the internet.
All right, Scott. Thank you, man.
Yes.